All right, our topic today is multiplying and dividing algebraic fractions. We've talked about this before, but the only difference between a normal fraction and an algebraic fraction is the algebraic fraction has pronumerals in it. So, for example, we might say something like 2 over 5 times 3 over 7. Those are normal fractions. The only thing that changes them is if we put a pronumeral on them and then they become algebraic fractions. But before we do that, let's review. How do I multiply two fractions together? Top times the top, bottom times the bottom. Just that simple. Multiply across the top, multiply across the bottom. So if I were to multiply these two fractions together, 2 times 3 is 6, 5 times 7 is 35, and in this case we would be done. But we're going to make them algebraic fractions instead. 2a over 5, 3b over 7. Now, the thing is, this doesn't change what we do. It still works exactly the same. So we multiply across the top. We've talked about multiplying terms together. 2a times 3b. We multiply the numbers and collect the letters. 2 times 3 is 6. A, B. The bottom is the same. Just like that. Okay? Now, it is important, if it comes up, that you cancel terms. That you cancel factors. So, let's use this problem. 4x over 15 times 3y over 2. And we're going to do this problem two different ways. The first way is to say top times the top, bottom times the bottom. 4x times 3y, multiply the numbers, collect the letters, gives me 12xy. 15 times 2 is 30. But remember, we have to cancel the factors. So, 12 over 30, is there a number that goes into both of those? Yes, there is. 2. Actually, 3 does as well. Actually, 6 does. So we can divide this and this both by 6, and it becomes 2xy over 5. Okay? Now, the other method that we can use for this, same idea, and it's the same idea that we used with regular fractions, and that is we can cancel the factors out earlier. You'll notice that we have 4 here and 2 here, diagonally cross-canceling. What divides evenly into both of these? 2 does. So we're going to make that divide by 2 gives me 2. Here, divide by 2 gives me 1. What about the 3 and the 15? Well, those both divide by 3. So we're going to divide this by 3 and have 5, and divide this by 3 and have 1. Now when we multiply across the top, we get 2x times y, 2xy, and we get 5 times 1 on the bottom, or 5. And the result of that is we don't have to do any canceling at the end of our problem. Now, that's multiplying. Dividing works the same sort of way. So let's say, for sake of discussion, I'm going to get this problem out of here. Let's say that we had a fraction like 3 over 8 divided by 1 over 5. What is the process for those sorts of fractions? 3 words. Flip and multiply. So we flip the second fraction and then we multiply. It becomes 3 over 8 times 5 over 1. Now there is a word that would be helpful for you to know. Terminology is always important in mathematics, and it is the term reciprocal. And reciprocal just means that we take a fraction and we flip it upside down. The original fraction is the reciprocal of the second fraction. Second fraction is the reciprocal of the first one. Just means we take a fraction and flip it upside down. So, this problem would give me 3 times 5 is 15, 8 times 1 is 8, and we would be done. When we have algebraic fractions, it works the same way. So we're just going to turn these into algebraic fractions. We're going to make this an A, and we're going to make that B. So we now have 3a over 8 divided by b over 5. What do? the same as before, flip and multiply. Another way to say that would be we multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. 3a over 8 times, flip it, 5 over b. And then we're just multiplying like we were up here. 3a times 5. What do? We multiply the numbers, collect the letters. 3 times 5, 15. A. On the bottom, the same thing. Multiply by the numbers, not much multiplying there to do. 8. And collect the letters, and we're done. 15a over 8b. I'm going to do another division problem, just a little bit different, but not a lot. We're going to go u over 4 divided by 15p over 2. Same sort of a problem. What do we do to divide? We multiply by the reciprocal of the second fraction. Or in 3 words, flip and multiply. U over 4 times flip 2 over 15p. And as before, multiply across the top. U times 2 is 2u. Always put the number first. And 4 times 15p gives me 60p. However, don't forget, we need to cancel. What factor will go into both of those? 2. So we're going to divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, and we're going to get 1u, or just u, we don't need the 1, over, divided by 2 gives me 30p. Now, as we said with one of the other problems, remember, you still do have to cancel, so, which is what I just did here. But I could do it shorter, because if you look back over here, you'll notice after I flipped and I'm ready to multiply, here's the factor I can cancel. Right here I can divide both of these by 2, that becomes 2, that becomes 1, and then I've saved myself a step. So I've got u times 1 is u, 2 times 15, which is an easier multiplication, 2 times 15 is 30. Add the pronumeral, multiply the pronumeral, collect the pronumeral, and I get the same answer that I would have gotten before. And that is multiplying and dividing algebraic fractions.